Hello and welcome to the first lecture of section 4, Amazon S3, that is Simple Storage Service. Here we are going to learn about S3 basics. So what is Amazon S3? S3 stands for Simple Storage Service. It's a cloud-based storage service. You can store images, videos, PDFs, log files, backup files, or any other static files in S3. S3 has unlimited storage capacity. That is, it can be scaled infinitely. Chances of data loss in S3 is almost zero. That is, S3 is highly reliable. S3 can be used alone or in combination with other AWS services. S3 can be accessed using AWS Console, API or command line interface, that is CLI. But the simplest way is to access it through console. So having said that, there are some use cases where you cannot use Amazon S3. Let us see. You cannot install database, operating system or any other program like web server, FTP, etc. on S3. So just remember this. You cannot have server-side execution, like running program that requires server-side processing, like PHP, Java, .NET code cannot be run on S3. Now let us see why we cannot install or go for a server-side execution in S3. It's simply because S3 is an object storage, not a block storage service. So for OS, DB installation, etc., you have to use EBS, that is Elastic Block Storage, that we have already discussed in section 2. Now let us see S3 buckets and objects. Bucket is a logical container for organizing your files in S3. This is quite similar to a folder. Remember, bucket name is globally unique. This allows your bucket to be used as a URL that can be accessed publicly. The bucket name can be between 3 and 63 characters long and can contain only lowercase characters, numbers, periods, and dashes. So you have to follow certain rules while naming your bucket. There's no maximum bucket size limit. Okay, so this is what we call infinite scalability in S3. Wisely choose AWS region for your buckets so that you can optimize it for latency, you can minimize cost, and you can address regulatory requirements, that is laws of the land. Now we have already seen buckets, let us see objects. Objects, S3 stores data as objects. Objects are stored in buckets. Remember, you can store an unlimited number of objects in a bucket. Minimum size of a single object can be 0 byte and maximum size can be 5 terabyte or 5 TB. You can store as many objects as you want within a bucket and write, read and delete objects in your bucket. The largest object that can be uploaded in a single put is 5 GB. For larger objects, that is something which is greater than 100 megabytes, you should consider using multi-part upload capability. This multi-part upload is not in the scope of this course, but just know about it it is very useful to know this term so that you are acquainted, and it would be easier for you when you are going for advanced course or certification course in future. S3, now let us see image representation. So here's Amazon S3. It's represented the way you are seeing right now in the screen. Next is bucket. This is your typical bucket, and finally you have bucket with objects. So these are representations which are used on a day-to-day basis if you are working for AWS on AWS projects. S3 key features. So S3 is designed for 11 nines of durability. Okay, this is simply called 11 nines. It means it is highly durable, highly reliable service. Availability is of 4 nines, that is 99.99, almost 100%. S3 supports versioning of your files. Supports object lifecycle management. So object lifecycle management is something which I find it extremely cool. It manages your objects so that they are stored cost effectively throughout their life cycle. You can configure the life cycle of an object. That is, you can have a set of rules that define action that Amazon S3 applies to the object, or it can be for a group of objects as well. For example, there can be user generated data which you don't require after 30 days, or so you can define a rule which will enforce that object should be deleted after 30 days. There can be another set of objects which are required for regulatory compliance, so they can be archived. We'll see this in detail in one of the lectures in this section. S3 uses HTTPS endpoint, that is, it can be accessed from anywhere in the world. S3 is secured, it can use encryption. S3 data consistency model. S3 is an example of distributed system. To achieve high availability, it stores multiple copies of data across multiple servers within AWS data centers. If you upload a new object, that is, a put request is successful to S3, it is immediately visible. That is, upload is immediately visible. But if you update an existing object, it may take some time to reflect the modified object. That is, the changes must replicate across S3, which can take some time. So the bottom line of this screen is, always remember that S3 provides read after write consistency for puts, that is, upload of a new object. That is, new objects are immediately available for you. Okay, but if you are going ahead with an edit or delete, it provides you with eventual consistency. So whenever you are editing something and uploading it to S3, it might happen that for a few moments you are still getting the old copy of the object, because it takes time to replicate in all the regions. So you need to remember two terms: read after write consistency and eventual consistency. Read after write consistency is for puts, that is for new objects, and eventual consistency is for override puts, that is for edits and deletes. So see you in the next lecture. Thank you.